Welcome back to IGN Live at San Diego Comic-Con. In the 90s, there was no shortage of hip, edgy, modern reimaginings of beloved pop culture franchises, but very few of them stuck the landing as well as Batman Beyond did. Here to discuss the 20th anniversary of this amazing animated series and its shway new Blu-ray release, please welcome two generations of Batman, Kevin Conroy, Will Friedle, and Bruce Timm, the creator of Batman Beyond and a few other DC cartoons. Gentlemen, thank you for coming by.
Hey,
thank you for having us. The smattering of applause. I love that.
The crowd went wild.
So Batman Beyond has a wonderful, huge legacy. It's kind of cool that, like, you know, old Grandpa Batman's celebrating 80 years this year, and then, you know, Beyond is turning 20. I wanted to ask, like, what was the expectation kind of going into this? It was obviously kind of going out on a limb here, Bruce. Like, you were trying something new with Batman, and
Well, I mean, it wasn't the idea didn't completely originate with us. We were meeting with the president of the WB network at the time, and he basically wanted us to make the Batman show a little bit more relevant to 6 and 12-year-olds, because that's our demo audience. And so he basically said, "Teenage Batman," and so we basically tried to make that happen, even though we were kind of inside going, "What?" So, you know, it was, once we kind of got into developing it, though, we found things about it that were very exciting to us and challenging, and we definitely wanted to kind of keep it in the continuity of the original Batman animated series, and so, which of course that meant, you know, we automatically had to have this guy back as Bruce Wayne.
Of course, yeah.
And it was a challenge. It was a lot of fun to kind of go in a different direction than what we had done with the you know, the original Batman the animated series is much more of a crime drama, more of a kind of a period piece, you know, street level crime, and we leaned into the whole sci-fi aspect of it, so that you know, the whole futuristic Gotham City, and you know, the different technology, and you know, even all of the gadgets and stuff that Batman has built into his suit, and his entire suit is like a walking utility belt. So it was, and then embracing the whole teenage angle as well, you know. So it was kind of fun, you know. It was something fun to try something completely different than what we'd done before.
Yeah. Now, fans have been clamoring for a very long time for a live-action Batman Beyond movie. Now, why do you think that hasn't happened yet? And do you want to see that? I know I do.
I'd be curious to see it. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you know. Sure.
Do you got to give me more than that. Come on. Do you not want it to happen?
That's a
great. You're not excited for it?
Yeah,
if that were to be a thing?
You know, I mean, I don't know.
you've directed.
It'd be weird to have somebody else, like, you know, messing around with the stuff I did. You know, it's like, well, I don't know.
But you've directed
a little protective of it.
a few movies. They're animated movies, but you know, the line between sort of animation and live action filmmaking is increasingly blurred these days. Would you ever consider doing a Batman Beyond movie? Live action?
I would. They're not going to ask me to make a Batman Beyond movie, so I would have to give my child over to somebody else to raise, and it's like, so.
I don't know how.
Probably not the answer you were thinking. Sorry.
Oh. I don't know. I'm like, who do I write a letter to? Where do I
Sorry.
start a change.org petition? Now, Kevin, can you talk a little bit about what it was like playing an aged Batman compared to animated series?
It's the same man, but in the animated series, when you're in your 20s, your entire life is ahead of you. You know, it's limitless. When you're in your 80s, so much of your life is behind you. You just have a different perspective on life. So he's more retrospective and introspective, and he realizes the wonderful thing about the way Bruce created the character was that he's not a feeble 80 years old. He's not some diary old man. He's still Bruce Wayne. He's passionate. He's powerful. He's got the moral integrity he always had. His body just won't do what he wants it to do. So he has to recruit a young man to help him. But it's at his core, it's the same man. He's just more frustrated than he was.
Now, Will, this was like your first big voice acting role. What was it like jumping into that?
It was terrifying. It was horrifying. It really was. I had never done animation before, and I was, you know, doing Boy Meets World at the time. So the idea of doing an animated series at all was something I had no idea what to expect, and then to to come in and be Batman next to this guy, and Mark Hamill was the Joker, and Batman the Animated Series had such a lasting effect on me, and I still think is one of the greatest animated series of all time, that the idea of jumping right in with both feet to play Batman was scary, to say the least. But luckily, I didn't have to be Bruce. You know, being Bruce Wayne has its own background to it, and there's the the mantle that sits on your shoulders, and nobody had ever done Terry before. So anything I did as I'm stumbling along trying to find Terry was kind of Terry stumbling along trying to be Batman. So it seemed to work pretty well. And I can honestly say I'm the best Terry McGinnis there's ever been. So that is
true.
He's the only Terry McGinnis.
The only one. So it worked out well.
So we had a fun idea for a game. There obviously have been a lot of different Batman over the years, and we've got two of them right here. We gave you a list of different Batman quotes from other iconic Bat voices. Wondered if you wanted to give a couple of those your best rendition in your respective Bat voices.
That's the monologue there.
I don't talk about feelings, Alfred. I don't have any. I've never seen one. I'm a night-stalking, crime-fighting vigilante and a heavy metal rapping machine. I don't feel anything emotionally except for rage. 24/7, 365 and 1,000,000%. And if you think there's something behind that, then you're crazy. Good night.
Wow.
Nice.
Cold reading kills it.
Cold reading, I can't top. How do you top that? Come on.
For anybody who's like in the comments, like, that is of course from the Lego Batman.
That is Lego Batman.
That's a Batman movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one of my favorite lines from any Batman movie right now, which is just, "Excuse me, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" That's all.
There you go.
Lovely line. Lovely line.
Can't beat that. Can't
I
beat
love it.
that.
Sweet.
Bruce, do you want to give one a shot?
Oh, there you go.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Nice.
That's the Christian Bale.
The Christian Bale version. I like that. That was great.
Very nice.
Well, I have one last question that I have to ask. All right, so Justice League Unlimited, season 2, season finale. Right, it had quite the reveal for Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis. Now, I'm really curious, and I'm sure a lot of people at home watching this are curious. Was this a storyline that you meant to happen in Batman Beyond? Or was this something that developed throughout Justice League Unlimited?
It was something that we actually started throwing the idea around when Glenn Murakami and I were talking about doing if the Return of the Joker had done really, really, really well, which it didn't, if they were going to ask us for a follow-up, we said, oh, what would we do if we did a follow-up? And we started throwing ideas around, and that's where the idea of Terry being genetically related to Bruce actually came up. It didn't happen at the time, and then years later when we were developing that last season, or that second season of Justice League Unlimited, I remembered that idea, and I said, hey, that might be a kind of a neat little coda for that season.
Yeah.
And so James Tucker and I and the late, great Dwayne McDuffie started kind of beating that story around, and it became what it was. So
It was amazing. One final question. I have to ask this again. I'm a huge fan. So the Jokers, all right?
Yes.
They're based on the Joker.
Yeah.
What about their rival gang, the T's?
Oh, that's a good question, boy.
Based on Mr. Terrific? I mean,
It looks like
he's
it
a
was based
hero.
on Mr. Terrific.
Exactly, but I'm like, he's a hero. That doesn't make
did.
any sense.
Totally looked like that.
Was he wearing the tattoo on his face at that time in the comics yet, though? I don't know if he was. Or did we do that first?
I
don't
think
know.
he did have a T. So, but we don't know who the T's are based on.
I can't remember.
It
There is
remains a
something kind of
mystery.
cool though
I'm
about
getting
a
old.
bad guy gang based on Mr. Terrific.
That would be, yeah, exactly.
It'd be like
It should have been. I
a
should have
Martian
said yes.
Manhunter gang or something. Like that. It'd be totally cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Batman Beyond Remastered is available on digital October 15th, Blu-ray October 29th, and Season 1 will also be showing up on DC Universe. We have tons more DC stuff happening on the IGN Live over the next few days, including Young Justice Outsiders, Batman Hush, and the new Harley Quinn animated series. Right now, we need to take a quick break. IGN Live at Comic-Con. We'll be right back.